Hello, I'm Michael Boyajian, and I'm doing a fourth video today. I was only going to do three, one for each of the new books coming out in the first quarter of 2023. One on the first one is coming out this month on the transition from the old millennium to the new. That parallels the transition of the LGBT community from the old millennial to the new millennial. And again, it's a Mike and Jerry book, and it's number 13 or 14 since she passed away. But anyhow, the other two books, and one of them is the reason why I'm doing this fourth one. But let me get to the second one first, which is about my late father-in-law, Gus, who was a engineer for Grumman Aerospace and worked on the lunar lander, which was an essential part of landing on the moon, which is... While we're doing the family tree for my wife, we're going back like almost 2,000 years looking for famous people. And right under our nose is the most famous person you can possibly have in your family tree is someone who worked on the greatest thing to ever happen in human history, the space program and people walking on the moon up till now. And there's other things that are important also in life, but just the technology of the space program itself. And then the third book, and again, this is why I'm doing it, is because I left the name out of the junior high teacher who enlightened me into this area and kind of pointed me in the right direction, as well as the rest of our class. And that junior high teacher's name was Joseph Scalia. Okay, and he was one of the original hippies to arrive in as a teacher in our junior high. Long hair, beard, good-looking guy. And my mother worked for the school district, and she didn't remember him so much for the hair and the beard, but he was the first teacher to wear jeans. Okay, so he was the first in many categories. And again, he's a retired now from teaching. But Joseph Scalia is also an author and a wonderful watercolorist, and you can see his work at his webpage, which I'm going to include in the title rather than say it here. And again, that way you can go and see the books he's worked, written, and also his wonderful watercolors. And one of the books was a massive book based on his junior high teaching experiences. And I just bought a new book, and he has a way of signing them and getting them out to you. And this one was titled Joseph Scalia versus the Universe. Okay, so he's still fighting the good fight there. I love the title. I immediately bought the book, and he signed it and put a nice note in there, and it's on the way here. And it's just when the rest of us are phasing out into the man of La Mancha world, fighting windmills, he's still fighting the good fight, okay? And he's pretty funny to this day, and that's the whole trick, being funny. Anyhow, the book that he enlightened us with, and I really mean enlightened, it was the wow book for my life. Some people say it was a Dr. Seuss book. Not for me. It was this book, but Joseph Scalia assigned to us, and that was by Joseph Heller, Catch-22, which it was a serious subject, but however, this author managed to make it one of the greatest belly-laughing books you ever read, yet an anti-war book, and about the horrors of war. And the minute you open it to the minute you close it, it moves like a Dan Brown novel. And it's hilarious. And that was assigned to us by Joe Scalia. And the reason I bring it up, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, is that it kind of parallels my father's own service in the war. He served the duration of the war, the entire war, up in, when the enlistees started arriving in April, and the war started in early December with the attack on Pearl Harbor. And he was the first group, and they into North Africa, and that's what the book is about. There's incredible things happen there. And the story of my father kind of parallels the story, and it's been nagging at me in these recent years. It kind of parallels the story in the Joseph Heller book. In Joseph Heller's book, an Armenian named Yossarian sees his friend killed on the runway and wants to get entirely out of the war. That's my recollection. It's been a long time since I read it, and there's a lot more to it. But my father also was an Army Air Corps airman, and he served the duration of the war, as I said. And he did his 2,200 hours of flying time. And he said, that's it. He saw his friend killed on the runway, which is kind of an odd coincidence. You know, 2 Armenians, 2 friends killed on the runway. One wants to leave the war. My father didn't leave the war. He just wouldn't re-enlist for another 2,200 hours of airtime. He was a radio man, by the way. And he went back and forth with the military for quite a bit, and they finally agreed to let him be a Jeep driver, which he enjoyed, and he did for the rest of the war. But his crew, his colleagues, his friends, wanted him to come with them on the last flight, and he just absolutely refused. And that flight disappeared over somewhere over Africa carrying gold. It was never seen again. I don't think they even found it. I don't know how that's possible, but that's the story. Again, so his military service coincides with Joseph Heller's, and I'm just wondering, was there some kind of connection there? I mean, okay, Yossarian wanted entirely out of the war. My father wanted to get out of harm's way, really, into driving a Jeep. It's still dangerous. It's a state of war, and I just always wondered about that. I don't know how I'm going to figure that one out. But anyhow, all of it is because of this WOW book assigned to our class by our junior high teacher, Joseph Scalia. And again, I'm going to put his webpage here so that you can see some of the titles and some of his wonderful watercolors. I mean, look, I do watercolor as a stress thing, and it's more like my stuff looks like preschool fingerprint painting, but his stuff looks really good. Okay, and I know good stuff because my late wife was a noted New York artist and worked at the Met for 34 years. Anyhow, Happy New Year, happy 2023, and thanks again, teacher. Bye.